Hey guys, I hope you're all having a good start to your week. I wanted to talk a little bit about patient advocacy. Um, Last week, I was able to observe or shadow the patient advocate, the main patient advocate at the VA hospital. Um, that work is extremely diverse. You need to be very aware of the services available at the VA. So that was like a learning experience in itself. I learned a lot about, or I had more exposure to a lot of different resources and outlets that the VA has and can provide. You take on very simple questions that veterans have, or really other coworkers that need advice for another veteran, to some pretty serious questions about patient care, what kind of quality care they're getting, how their goals may or may not be being met. And then, as a patient advocate, I think you really find yourself in the middle sometimes between the veteran or the patient or client that comes to you and says, "Hey, I have this going on," and sometimes coworkers and policy and doing the right thing or not doing the right thing. Sometimes the veteran's concern is very, very legitimate, and then policy holds very firm. So, yes, we understand that you don't like this, but this is our policy. And that's not going to change in the near future. And then we say, but you have options. I mean, you can bring this to higher administration's attention. And then, you have the situations where the patient is entirely right, or the veteran or the client, again. And you have to address an issue with a doctor that's going on, or a psychiatrist or social worker, or just another department in general. And you have to bring that to sometimes superiors' attention. And it can be a very, very tough job. But you're dealing with policy day in and day out, ethical decisions day in and day out. But ultimately, you're looking out for the best of the veteran, in our case. And when they're wrong, we tell them, look, this is a situation. And most of the time, I have found the veterans are very understanding. Sometimes they're not, and they have a right to be. So you validate that, and you allow them to move forward in the way that they choose fit. The one thing that I have learned along the way is that, and I think I've said it in one of my other videos, is that when you're validating a veteran, patient, client, I know a lot of you guys are in different settings, so you don't always have to agree with them, but you're validating how they feel, and that's been huge, for me anyway. And I think I've kind of always known that, but to hear someone, like another clinician, say that, and then to like process it on my own in my own way, as I interact with veterans in my case, it's eye opening, because it opens you up to be, sometimes I think, a little bit more helpful, in a way, I guess. But yeah, so patient advocacy was really cool. I learned a lot. I was exposed to quite a bit. The social worker in that role at the VA here in Maine is just an awesome, awesome clinician. You have to be really straightforward. You have to really be able to kind of take on some really tough situations head on, which not everybody is entirely comfortable with. But it was just a really cool experience. So I just wanted to kind of hear from you guys, if you have experienced any pretty major like ethical dilemmas or advocacy type situations where it just kind of sticks out and you want to share. I had a really good experience and it really kind of taught me a lot to move forward with. So I hope you guys all have a great week and we'll talk soon.